Hello and welcome to the first episode of Higher or Lower of 2026. This is the show brought to you by Spreadex, Sporting Index and oddschecker as we look ahead to the weekend's football. This weekend it is the FA Cup third round, an iconic weekend of football in England. Happy New Year. Hope you had a great break. Hope you had a good Christmas. I'm your host, George Ellick. Delighted to be joined by Dan Worth.
Hey, mate.
And Jack Wright.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Jack, you're vegan.
Yes.
What do you eat on Christmas Day?
I had a delicious nut roast.
Lovely.
With all the roast trimmings, roast veg, roast potatoes, all cooked separately
Beautiful.
by my fantastic sister and her partner.
Nice. Are they vegan as well?
They are not.
So just for you?
Yeah.
Do you feel a bit bad?
They're superb, beautifully well done. It was very nice. Effectively had a separate oven for me.
Wow. That's good.
That's treatment.
I guess I probably have to cook the potatoes and something else, maybe?
Yeah.
all that.
They were cooked separately. Yeah.
Wow. What did
Everything
you
was
have?
done.
I had a bit of pork belly and some gammon on Christmas
Pork
Day.
and gammon. Lovely.
Yeah.
Double
So,
pork.
come on, you've asked us.
It's like a huge version of pigs and blankets, that.
Yeah.
Right, enough of that silliness. Let's get into the football. And we're going to kick off with Wrexham versus Nottingham Forest. As I say, this is the FA Cup third round, so a championship side hosting a Premier League side. Total goals here is the market we're looking at. 2.7 is the sell price, 2.9 is the buy price. So with Spreadex, so 2.8 is the midpoint. Are we going higher or are we going lower? 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
I am absolutely flabbergasted that you've done that.
Your caster is slabbered.
I would have had that 10 on that all three of us would go high.
Would you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Talk
why? So a theme that I've got that's going to run through this show for me and my rationale is there is going to be heavy rotation throughout all these games, pretty much all these games anyway. And I also feel that we're coming in the back of round 3, off the back of probably the most relentless, brutal fixture list across the Premier League and the EFL. And I think that's going to have an impact on these games. That's part of my thinking here. And this one's Friday. Forest have already played this week, played on Tuesday. Huge game, mentally and physically, against West Ham. And I just feel that will impact them. And Sean Dyche is going to have to rotate his side. Obviously, the Premier League survival is paramount for them, but also in the Europa League as well. They haven't got massive amounts of strength in depth to rotate. The likes of Chris Wood being out and several other key players are out. So I feel like Phil Parkinson against Sean Dyche here on a Friday. Wrexham, the glorious underdogs, of course, but doing really well in the Championship. And I kind of fancy their chances to nick a win in this one. But I don't think it's going to be an end-to-end thriller. I don't think it's going to be a goal fest. They've got a strong record in the Championship. And they are pretty tight defensively this season. They've got one of the strongest defensive records at home, certainly, in the league. So I'm prepared to go under the fact that there'll be 0, 1 or 2 goals in this as opposed to 3, 4 or more. But you're obviously going to tell me I'm an absolute raving idiot.
Yeah.
Go on, then.
Wrexham at home.
I know.
Goals. It's been the case in the National League. It's been the case in League 2. It's been the case in League 1. And now it's the case in the Championship. If you look at their home games this season, 2-3, 2-2, 1-3, 1-1, 1-1, 1-0. Not great there. 3-2, 1-0, 2-0, 1-1, 2-2, 5-3, 2-1.
You emphasised that one, didn't you?
Well,
Say that again.
5-3.
Oh.
And they're kind of trending in the right way with 4 goals, 8 goals and 3 goals in their last 3 games at home.
Unsustainable.
It's not. It's been going on for 4 years now. Phil Parkinson and the cynic in me suggests that given that they make a TV show about this stuff, given that it's an entertainment business, I think that at home the handbrake generally comes off, and away from home is where Parky plays his more kind of compact out of possession shape and looks to kind of drive the goal line down, and that's been the case for the last couple of seasons too. They've got loads of attacking talent. Sam Smith's come into the side in Kiefer Moore's absence and looked really, really good. But Josh Windass, Nathan Broadhead, they're a good attacking side. And as you say, they'll really fancy their chances here. Cup game is generally very end-to-end, where whichever team goes behind will always kind of cut loose pretty quickly because a draw, that you can do that. It's not a league game where there's a point on the table for a draw.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised at I basically think any Wrexham home game, regardless of the opposition, where over 2.5 is a backable price, is basically a must bet. And I take your point about Forest, but under Dyche, Forest games haven't been that low scoring either. So very, very keen on goals here.
I think Wrexham go quite strong team. Like I said about rotation, I think Wrexham actually might go quite strong here and play a fairly strong side. And I think they'll be the stronger side than Forest. And Forest will put out a real weirdly rotated side. And I think that will play into the hands. And I think Wrexham probably win it. I'd back Wrexham to win this, but in a narrow win. But so we'll have to see, won't we? It's fun.
Damn. Yeah, I agree. I think Wrexham will probably get a result here against Forest too, bar that win over West Ham, who are probably a similar standard of opposition as Wrexham. Forest have been in pretty poor form of late.
Says wearing their colours as well.
Clip that up and put it out.
Yeah, we can do. Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Let's do it. As you already mentioned, they've got one of the best strikers in the land, in Sam Smith.
In the land. In the land.
He might get on the score sheet here.
When you say in the land, do you mean Wales?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think that's actually a good question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably is the best striker.
Nope.
No? Who you go for?
Kiefer Moore. Zambi Popnik.
Yeah.
Youssef Selek.
Fair enough. Well, there we go.
He's in the top 5. He's in the top five.
Yeah.
In a combined top 5. Yeah. I've lost where I was going, but
cool.
Wrexham in good form. Forest not in great form. I think Wrexham will win it. They're at home. 3 goals.
Up for the cup.
Cool. Macclesfield hosting Crystal Palace is next up. Total goal minutes is what we're looking at here. National League hosting. National League, but an historic club, it should be said. Hosting Crystal Palace, another historic club, FA Cup holders. Proper, real kind of genuine old school FA Cup third round tie. Yeah. And will be even if Palace do rotate, which of course they probably will. 170 to sell, total goal minutes, 185 to buy, so the midpoint is 177.5. Are we going higher or lower? 3, 2, 1. All in agreement, we're going lower. Downward, tell me why.
Well, I mean, I imagine you guys are the same. I just think this is going to be tighter than this line suggests. I know it's not a huge line. We see this relatively regularly in the Premier League. But yeah, I just think it's going to be quite tight. This market, this time last year, I went lower on. I think maybe both of you did too, was Tamworth and Tottenham. Similar line and it finished 0-0. I'm not suggesting this will finish 0-0, but I think we could see something similar in terms of how tight it is. Palace, obviously, the holders, as you said, so it's a great tie for Macclesfield. And similar to Wrexham, I think they're going to be bang up for it. Palace this season not scoring anywhere near as many goals as they did last season. I think only 3 teams in the Premier League have scored fewer than Palace. But if you look at the opening rounds of last year's FA Cup, Palace sort of made their way through by not conceding goals, right? They weren't exactly lighting teams up. 1-0 against Stockport, 2-0 against Doncaster. And if they are to win this, I wouldn't mind suggesting it'll be a scoreline like that. So, yeah, 1.775, probably slightly too high for me.
Jack?
Yeah, much the same reasoning, really. And I also think Palace need this game like a hole in the head, don't they? They're exhausted. This will be their 12th game since December the 3rd. So that's pretty much a month exactly. Early kick-off on a non-league pitch as holders of the Cup. It's kind of virtually a no-win situation for them. And Glasner has to completely rotate. He's been talking about the fact that his side are exhausted. They've suffered massively from injuries. 11 players out last night. Players obviously in national duty. And I'd imagine this will be pretty much a youth team that he'll put out here and hope that they'll get the job done and keep some of his kind of first choice 11 on the bench if needed. And they might be needed. And I say that is a decent comparison, the Tamworth one against Tottenham last season. But yeah, Macclesfield, great tie for them. I think they'll look to make it hard. They'll obviously work hard, do all the usual stuff. One of Palace's strengths over the last couple of seasons is they're built on defence rather than attack, to be fair. And I think they'll probably have enough to keep Macclesfield out and so not have that much going forward to hit a high line here. So they want to win it, get out of town. They don't need to rack up a cricket score here. So, yeah, one of the better defences, Macclesfield in the National League North as well. Only conceded 15 and 12 at home. So, yeah, I think this could be a tighter, lower scoring affair than maybe expected. Yeah,
I guess my thinking here, like it wouldn't surprise me if there are goals given the massive gap in quality between the two. It's more, I think this game will be done quite early. Yes, I accept the Palace will rotate, but I still imagine they'll have the strength to get past Macclesfield because as a Premier League club and the holders, you don't want to get dumped out by National League opposition. And if that is the case, and if they're ahead early, and if they do then rotate late on into the game to bring players on or take players off that need a rest, my hunch is that therefore the game will kind of fizzle out. So I can see this being a 2-3-0 win to Palace, but rather than the goals coming late, them coming early, and then it kind of going nowhere later on.
Yeah, there's by history Is it correct in me thinking that when Coventry won the FA Cup in the 80s?
I wasn't alive.
Yeah, it might be tough for us too.
Come
Sorry,
on,
mate.
Come on,
alive.
stop it.
Born 1990, so not too far away.
Yeah. Well, they went to Sutton in round 3 the following season, then got beat by Sutton. So as holders, so I think probably you're going to comment on the video here saying you idiot. Of course not. That didn't happen. But I'm pretty certain it did. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. If any of you were alive in the 80s, then let us know.
Right, an all Premier League clash next up. Thank goodness this is on television. It's not like we haven't seen Tottenham play Aston Villa enough times in our lives. It's the supremacy here. Spurs and Villa, nothing between them. They're pick 'em, despite Tottenham being the home team. So 0.1 to buy, minus 0.1 to sell. The spread X. So we're getting the draw here. We're getting the draw. Bit of fun. Yeah. Are we going higher or lower? Spurs or Villa? 3. So higher here is a Spurs win. Lower is a Villa win. 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
Just think this is a way bigger game for Tottenham and Thomas Frank than it is for Bruno Emery and Villa. I think for Emery, like normally this would be a massive opportunity to win a trophy. And we know that Unai Emery loves winning trophies. But they have a massive chance to qualify for the Champions League this season if they finish in the top 4. They are looking quite leggy, especially away from home. We saw them against Palace in midweek, failed to put them away and draw the game 0-0. A second away game in a few days. Whereas for Spurs, Thomas Frank's job is coming under severe pressure. They lost 3-2 against Bournemouth last time out. A lot of criticism from the fan base about the style of football and the performances from them too. I think Tottenham will go stronger than Villa, and I expect them to go off favourites by the time we get to kick off. So that's the way that I'm looking to play this. Jack, why are you going the other way?
I just think Villa are the better team, and they've got a better strength in depth. A lot of Spurs injuries, they are too they're struggling. And I think over the course of the season, we've seen Ollie Watkins start the game, for example, and then Malen come on and perform well, and then it's been Malen in and Watkins has come on and done well. They can rotate those kind of players well. We saw Buendia come off the bench yesterday, so expect game time for the likes of him. And I just think they've got, especially in attacking areas, I think they've got a lot of talent. And my concern probably for Spurs would be, well, there's a lot, but one of the concerns would be that they'd probably look to rest maybe a couple of defenders. And that could cause them problems. It is a massive game for them. What risk does Thomas Frank take here? Does he go and say, "Oh, I need to rotate," or is he going to put all his eggs in the basket, saying we need to perform well and get a trophy? Aston Villa have got a decent record against Spurs. I don't think Emery, given that desire to win a trophy of some description, and yes, they've got the Europa League as like favourites to win that, and looking strong to finish in the top 4 in the Premier League. But I think you'll still want to have a crack at this. They did last season, got to the semis, didn't they, last season? So I think you'll have a similar outlook this time round. And they've already been to Spurs one. And they also beat Spurs in the FA Cup last season on the way to get to the semi-finals. So, yeah, 1/6 the last 8 between the two. I think they can extend that run here.
Yeah, much the same. I just think Villa are better than Tottenham. Only Wolves have won fewer games than Tottenham at home this season, which is very bleak. I do think you have a valid point in that this means a lot to Thomas Frank, because his head is surely on the chopping board if they don't get through this. I don't know how long he'll be afforded. If they don't, rotation likely for both sides. I don't know. I just think Villa are better. It's obviously a very tight line, so I've just swayed that way.
Fair enough. Charlton, Chelsea in an all-London clash. Next up, I think these two faced each other a few years ago in the FA Cup. Anyway, they're doing so again here with Liam Rosenior's first game in charge in the dugout of Chelsea. Probably not ideal, an away tie against a Championship club where we're expected to win. Anyway, goals cubed is the market here, where the total amount of goals in the game is cubed. So 0 is 0, 1 is 1, 2 is 8, 3 is 27, 4 is 64, and that is a line here. So you need 5 goals in Charlton Chelsea turn profit. 4 would be bang on and a push. And 3 or fewer, you're making money.
Yeah.
Goals cubed. Charlton Chelsea. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. I undenied about this a little bit, because even though Nathan Jones is a manager who his success now, it didn't used to be the case. Success now is built, especially at Charlton, on a really solid defensive unit. There have been times this season where Charlton, from a defensive perspective, have been really poor. But I think he's sorted that out in the last couple of weeks, and the results seem to suggest that that's the case. They got a good 1-1 draw against Coventry fairly recently, arguably the best attacking side in the league, although maybe not at the moment. What kind of persuaded me here was that Chelsea went to Cardiff in the Carabao Cup a couple of weeks ago. Cardiff, a relentlessly attacking team, and there were 4 goals in that game, so I made up 64 exactly. But in terms of playing style, like Cardiff at home versus Charlton at home is so different. Charlton will be way less expansive. I assume Chelsea's team will be fairly similar in terms of the team they put out and the players that they'll rest as that day. And I think Chelsea will probably end up winning this relatively comfortably to 0. And I think basically all scores beneath 4 are a big runner. And I'd be surprised if this is a massive goal fest. It's just not really the way that Nathan Jones will set up his team to play this. And I think Charlton could frustrate Chelsea for the most part to start off. So, yeah, going lower. Jack?
Yeah, I think so. I think Nathan Jones will be bang up for getting a scalp here. And as you say, Rossini will be certainly very keen to avoid a defeat here. And Chelsea have generally been very, very good when it comes to taking on lower league opposition in this competition. In fact, they've progressed in 61 of the last 63 versus lower opposition, including the last 22. So wow. No pressure.
About time.
No pressure.
Sounds like it's about time they didn't.
Yeah. So I think it could be tight. I think it will be a tighter game, and I'm certainly happy to have the 4 for a push and 0, 1, 2 and 3 on side here. 5 goals, I can't really see it being that open and expansive. And I did look into Rossini's time at Strasbourg. Last season, across all venues, their games averaged 2.76. I know it's a little bit of a weird comparison given a completely different country, but the way he sets his side up and how he wants to go about it gives me a bit of a read on, is it going to be goal fest or not? And on the road last season, across the full campaign, he actually averaged 2.76 as well. So that said to me that it's a fairly standard and solid number to go with as a benchmark. And yeah, I think that this will be a tricky test for Chelsea that they might just get past, but in a more of a tight and cagey London derby than a frenzied, open and emphatic goal fest.
Sam?
Yeah, tight and cagey basically sums up my argument too. Charlton have defended quite well at the Valley as well this season, only conceded 12 in the Championship. So, yeah, a tougher opposition than it might look at first glance for Chelsea, I think. So, yeah, tight. So 5 just seems a bit punchy.
Excessive.
Yeah, and Charlton aren't great scorers either.
No.
Only 2 sides have scored fewer goals than them in the Championship this season. Both those sides are in the bottom 3. We'll probably move on.
Yeah, I think let's move on.
Yep, let's move on. Portsmouth hosting Arsenal is a nice FA Cup clash, albeit formerly a Premier League clash. The supremacy is the market we're looking at here with Sporting Index. Arsenal over Portsmouth. 1.95 is the midpoint here. So you're looking for 2 or like Arsenal to win by 2 or more goals if you're going higher, or Arsenal to win by 1 goal, a draw, or Portsmouth to win. There you go. It's hard sometimes. Right, 3, 2, 1.
It's hard against Arsenal, but not according to you.
I mean, Pompey are a funny team. They are really, really poor away from home, and that has been an issue for them ever since they got 1 promotion out of the league, into the league. Under John Mousinho. It's continued to be the case, but there have been some signs of improvement at home, for sure. They're a team who at home are generally very, pretty strong. It's just quite a high line. Like I can see Arsenal winning this for sure, and Arsenal probably, we assume will win this. But I can see Portsmouth keeping them quiet for the most part and causing some issues themselves as well. So this isn't what I'm overly strong about, and I know that I'm backing the odds against option here, but I wouldn't write off Portsmouth at home giving Arsenal more of a game than they're expected to. And especially with Arsenal having played Liverpool on Thursday night, it'll be interesting to see what kind of team Arsenal put out to, because it might not be the strongest. Dan?
Yeah, I agree. The
Thanks.
squad is very interesting because they are going to rotate right after what is likely to be a very tough game for Arsenal tonight, and one they really will like some points from. But I think that Arsenal's they have the ability to rotate, is what I'm trying to say. They've got loads of young, exciting talent. They've got some players, like I imagine Gyökeres will start. We know he's pretty good against the poorer sides. We know he's pretty good generally. He could have a field day, I think, against Portsmouth, because only Sheffield Wednesday have a worse goal difference than Portsmouth in the Championship this season, which obviously says they leak goals and they don't score that many. You don't really want that record coming up against Arsenal no matter which 11 they put out. I think Arsenal will have a lot of the ball. I think they'll pile on the pressure, probably get a lot of set pieces, which they're not too bad at. Yeah, I think it could be a sort of routine win for Arsenal. 2-0, 3-0, easy on the cards for me.
Jack?
Yeah, I looked into the fact that what kind of side will Mikel Arteta put out for this one. And you look at players that are needing some game time, Ben White, Lewis Skelly, Ezer, he's not really played much recently. So, again, obviously, there's a lot of will depend on what side he puts out against Liverpool after we recorded this. But we've got some Norgard as well, Nwaneri, Jesus, or say Gorkrez, Jesus, or even Havertz, who's coming back. He'll need some game time at some point in time. And then that Trossard kind of Martinelli link on the left-hand side. They've got so much attacking talent. I think they could have blow Portsmouth away here. And I get your point that with Portsmouth generally, I think, well, my perception of Portsmouth is they're a strong home side. But looking into it this season, they have lost 5 of 13 in the league. They've also lost in the League Cup as well, which I thought was an important one, to a League One minnow this season. But so I think Arsenal will just have far too much strength here, and I think they will. I think without question the best side in England right now, and possibly, arguably, the best side in Europe right now. And I think Arsenal will show that and flex that a bit in the FA Cup and win by at least 2 goals.
Okay, good stuff. Final game on the card this week is Liverpool hosting Barnsley. Barnsley under Conor Hourihane, who had a decent run early in December, but in woeful form at the moment. Liverpool, obviously, have returned to some kind of form after their own woeful run. Total goals as the market here, 3.9 to sell, 4.1 to buy. So it's another one where we get a push for 4 goals. 1, 2, 3 would be lower, and 5 or more would be higher. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, it's just a high line, isn't it?
Very high.
Cool. Yeah, Barnsley, they've got a group of very good attacking players. Davis Keillor-Dunn being kind of the headline one, who's very sought after and seemingly going to be sought after in January as well. But Vimal Jorgenathan is a very, very good player. Whereas Cleary's making massive headlines so far this season. But they're all really young, and they're all, it feels like, after a kind of the grueling Christmas period, struggling physically a bit. Cleary and Jorgenathan and Bland, another young player, all taken out the side for their last game. They've had a couple of trips recently. They went to Exeter and couldn't really find a way to trouble Exeter, and again they lost 3-0. I think Barnsley will struggle to lay a glove on Liverpool. And in my mind here, if you're buying goals, you're buying Liverpool goals. And it's too high for me to do that, even though I expect them to win it pretty comfortably. So I'm going lower. Jack?
Yeah, exactly the same reasons. I think that Liverpool will win it. I just think Barnsley do not have the strength to trouble Liverpool. And I do think that a lot of my reasoning on the show today to go lower than goals is generally because I just think that a lot of these players are exhausted. It does feel, as I said at the top of the show, a brutal period. It seems more so than usual festive season. That extra kind of Premier League round of games we had this week, I think it just takes the edge off these sides that are going to very much rotate where they have the option to. Liverpool are very, very strong in round 3, progressed in 13, the last 14, and everyone since they lost to Wolves in 18-19, so expect them to go, not 18-19 as in the year, as in the 2018-19 season. And so Barnsley not the best travellers, certainly in League One as well, only won 3 of their 11. So, yeah, I agree. If you want to play goals here, just play the Liverpool goals line, because I don't think Barnsley can bring much to the table here. And I'm certainly happy to take a push on 4, win anything underneath that, and take a risk that there might be 5, but I'm happy to go lower.
Okay, right, nap time. Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Would be very nice.
Dan, what's your best bet of the weekend?
I'm going back to a game we've already covered. Charlton versus Chelsea. I'm buying bookings at 38.
Feisty.
Yeah?
Seems low? No?
FA Cup.
Who's at the whistle?
It's Chris Kavanagh on the whistle. He's dished out the 3rd highest amount of yellows in the Premier League.
Newly appointed to the top FIFA rankings?
Is he?
Yeah.
I think so.
Right up there. So he's averaging exactly this line with 3.8 per game. He's refereed Chelsea once this season against Forest. Showed 2 yellows and a red, which would have made up this line. Just
Doesn't like Chelsea getting a red, isn't it?
Doesn't sound like Chelsea, does it? But no, this play is largely because of what I've already said. I think this is going to be quite tight. I think Charlton will look to suffocate Chelsea. They've got the players to do so. If Charlton need to rotate, bring in my boy Harvey Nibbs. He's going to be perfect at doing that job. There's no player bookings markets just yet, but I'd probably be all over Harvey Nibbs to get booked here if he starts. And we don't really need to talk about Chelsea's disciplinary record, do we? Again, last night, just ridiculous. And only 5 teams have had more bookings than Charlton in the Championship this season. So 2 teams that have been amongst the cards already this season, and I'm backing it. It's not a massively high line if we get 4 yellows this COP. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
Jack?
Burnley Millwall for me, and one of my favourite markets. I do like to play it. I'm going total goal minutes, 121 the midpoint, and that's the 3rd lowest in the entire round 3. And I just felt that was a bit low for this fixture. Rotated league sides, of course. I think that's one of the things you've got to point out is that it's hard to draw form lines. We've got to take a little bit of a punt on what we're going to expect from them. So team use is generally crucial, but I'm going to take the basis that Scott Parker's kind of been rotating quite heavily in the Premier League anyway, so he's going to rotate here. But both sides took the competition seriously last season, so expecting to take it seriously this time around. Both got to round 5 last season. Round 1 saw 148 minutes and 185 minutes. Obviously, Burnley were lucky not to suffer a giant killing. Yeah.
What a goal that was.
Well, indeed, and so. And let's not forget how good Burnley were in the Championship last season. And people go, oh, yeah, well, they changed their squad massively. Well, I had a look at the lineup when Burnley played Millwall and beat them 3-1. 8 players are still at the football club from that starting 11. So it's not massively different. Burnley played Derby in the League Cup as well, which I thought this season, which was a decent form line. They won that 2-1, 129 minutes there. And then they lost 2-1 the next round to Cardiff, as we talked about already before. That was bang on the line, 121. And 2 of Millwall's 3 League Cup ties this season went higher. Newport was the initial one, round 1 was 60 minutes. Then Coventry was 198 and Palace was 162. So quick stat on the overall FA Cup, 25-26 season, goals by half. There was 43% of goals in the first half and 57% in the second half, which is a higher average than what we normally see in league games for the reasons we talked about at the top. There's obviously no jeopardy really. You want to go all out and do it, so you see some later goals, which would be ideal for this line.
Good stuff. I'm going to Sheffield United versus Mansfield for mine. I'm going to buy goals cubed at 61. Ooh. So 4, we get 64, so small profit, and 5 or more gets much more than that. I think there's always going to be a couple of FA Cup ties where the goals go mad, and it's kind of trying to find where they are. With Sheffield United, you've got a team who their last game was postponed, so they'll be fresh coming to this one. They put 3 past Leicester last time out in a game that finished 3-1, so would have been a winner. They went to Wrexham on Boxing Day, and again that finished 5-3. 5-3, as I said earlier. Ridiculously high scoring under Wilder this season. There was a 3-2 against Leicester, the 4-0 against Stoke. And Mansfield themselves, you know, they're not strangers to a high scoring game. Went to Barnsley and won that game 3-2 relatively recently. A tall draw against Accrington. Nigel Clough, you know, the chances are they're going to be behind for quite a lot of this game. My guess is that he will, rather than go down with a whimper, he'll go down swinging and send players forward. I think this could end up being really high scoring. It wouldn't surprise me to see another 5-3.
5-3.
Or something around that. So yeah, I think if I'm looking for where the goal fest may occur over the weekend, that would be my number 1 selection.
Nice. I look forward to James Alexander-Gordon enunciating that perfectly well. Obviously,
he doesn't. He's no more.
You need to find a website. There is a website that does that.
I mean, isn't it AI?
But it's his voice.
Slop.
No.
Right. I love the man.
5.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously fantastic, but you know.
Come on, it's as close as we're going to get.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in you, George.
He was an artist. You can't be fabricating artists. There we go. Thank you very much for watching this week's episode of Higher or Lower. We'll be back again next week for a return to Premier League action. So make sure you stay tuned for that. If you haven't got a SpreadX or a Sporting X account, sign up for one using the link in the show description. There is a new customer offer there, so make the most of that. And please do read up on the risks of spread betting before you do so. And remember that losses can exceed your initial deposit. Oddschecker have you covered for all fixed odds betting needs, and whoscored.com for all of your stats to inform your betting. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, George.
See you both next week. See you next week. Enjoy the football, and please ensure that you're gambling responsibly.